Yeah, and I certainly found myself being very short-tempered. And it took me a long time to recover, to get back to normal life. And my wife will say it took me 10 months, and actually she was scared of me for the first 3 or 4 months back. I was unaware of this, and I think that's part of the problem. You're not quite as self-aware as you should be. You lack of self-awareness and lack a feeling of invincibility. You've been through so much that actually normal life is dead easy, and you know what's it all about. And there are also, but did get back to normal life, but there are some long-term effects I find linger with me. My emotional responses to things are now much stronger. I'm much more emotional. I'm happy to show my emotions. I still feel guilt about various things, and guilt sort of still racks up. I feel I ought to get back in touch with people, and I don't do it, so I feel guilty about that. And I didn't have any nightmares or vivid dreams. I know you talked about that earlier, haven't you? And constant rethinking and relating to the experience. Now, to be fair, it's a pretty significant part of my life, but my wife was saying, you're not talking about Iraq again, but I can relate what happened, and I can recall things really clearly for those 3 months, and relate it to experiences that are going on now.
I mean, just going back to the emotional response, we were talking about it. We've been very lucky in that we've been able to talk to each other, but at one point we worked out that somehow the emotional gate that normally controls your responses, so if you feel a bit tearful, if you feel a bit upset about something, you can normally control it. But actually both of us felt as if this emotional gate had been kicked off, and sometimes it would just fall off. And so I can be watching anything at EastEnders, and I'll suddenly find water coming out of my face. We call it face water. And it's very embarrassing, and people will look at you and go, why are you crying? You're not crying for any other reason apart from your emotional gate has fallen off for whatever reason. And there is a bit of work actually that's looked at people with physical brain injury, like strokes, for example. And if you know somebody who's had a stroke, you'll often find that they become quite emotionally responsive and tearful. And it's the same mechanism. It's just one is a physical one and one is a chemical one.
So, and interesting, you've already just talked about that, what helps, and what helped me as Mark. We're very good friends, and we trust each other implicitly, and we have explored our own demons, and I think that has really helped me I don't have PTSD, I don't think. I have post-traumatic stress. I had post-traumatic stress, and I still have some lingering effects. Perhaps that is PTSD, I don't know. But really finding someone who you trust and to talk to, or someone who understands better the experience you've been through, and that's really why we're doing this.
And you know, almost worse than that is that as a doctor, I was dealing with lots of people with PTSD, and I didn't recognise it myself. And and so you know, the expression "I should have known better" I think is appropriate. But so you don't see it in yourself, and sometimes you just need to listen to others. We've actually done a short video on some key features of PTSD, and you might want to have a look at that if you just want a bit more detail about the illness itself.
And also, it helps if someone understands the context, or you understand the context in which you operated. And it was different from normal life. We've touched on this before, the normalisation of violence, the constant fear, the constant stress. That's not normal life. There is stress in life, but the military has put you through some extraordinary things, and you've coped with some extraordinary things about which you should be proud. And I certainly feel very proud of what we did, but it's something that we need to explore with each other, and then find help and use the support that's provided. I didn't, as Mox just said, I didn't recognise it in myself. People around me recognised it, but as I said, I was such an angry person, people didn't really want to scratch that itch for me and peel away at the surface and say, I think you need to get some help.
And I think you also said about people being scared of you. Both of us aren't the sort of person that people are scared of, but loads of people said to me they were really scared of me when they came back.
So I hope that just gives you a little bit of a personal experience from us, and we've sat here openly smiling. We've known each other for years, and we trust each other. So that has helped us to explore what we're feeling, and we're comfortable to do so. So if you feel anything, if someone's spotting something, go and see your GP, go and see your MO. And actually the lifting the decks REME thing and the what's on your mind is a really good place to start.
Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.